What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Look at this handsome man here. Chenji hanging out on the ChumpChange channel right now. I'll put a link down below if you guys want to check that out. I was listening to the live stream that they have going on right now, talking about the RTX 3080 Ti. Anyways, this is going to be a short, quick video, but want to discuss a few things with you guys. So I actually just made a post on the community tab. I just sold this guy. So I decided, this was in my Havoc rig, and this is the PNY XLRB Geforce GTX 1650 Super. And I got this a little under a year ago. It's a 4 gig card, and I had it mining Ravencoin, and it was doing 12.5 based off of overclock settings, so about 12.5 mega hash on Ravencoin. And I decided that the demand and the price of these cards was too good not to sell them. So I decided to sell it, and I'm going to be keeping an eye out for some RX 580 8 gig cards. These are super close. These are in such high demand that the price of these is super close, maybe within $25 to $50 of an RX 580 8 gig, which is a natural upgrade when we're talking about mining, going from 4 to 8 gigs. So I went ahead and sold this here. I'll be shipping this out later today. So we're going to talk about these in another video, so keep an eye out for that. Some older hardware that we're going to put to use. But today, I'm actually in the process of building a whole new rig. This will be my 4th rig since February. I got a few of the cards in, and I'm waiting for more tech to arrive. So these are used, pre-owned cards. We have a Zotac 1066 gig, EVGA 1066 gig, and an EVGA 1066 gig. So this entire rig, it'll be a 6 GPU rig. We are running it on the H110 Pro, so it's a 13 GPU motherboard. We're only going to do 6 GPUs for right now with room for growth. But in today's video, I'm going to build a very quick, like, I don't even know how much I'm going to record of it, a test rig, because I just got these in off of Facebook Marketplace and also Offers Up, and I want to test these. The way that Facebook Marketplace and Offers Up works is I make an offer, I buy the card. They don't charge my credit card, until I've received the product. I have 2 days after receiving the product to review the product, and then if I find one of these cards is dead, doesn't work, isn't hashing the way it should, I can refuse the product and it gets shipped back to the owner, and I don't spend a dime. If I don't respond within those 2 days, or I approve it, then I get charged for it. So I'm under crunch time here. I need to get these tested. So I'm going to go ahead and get these thrown into a test rig. We're going to use this pre-owned, pre-built HP motherboard. This came out of a HP desktop. It comes with, has 8 gigs of memory, has I think it's an Intel i3 processor, and take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4 GPU slots. That HP tower cost me like 50 bucks. I ripped out this board. This was a fan that goes into the one port. And then I also ripped out 3 power buttons. I took the case apart, and now we got some power buttons. So repurposing a bunch of stuff, but we'll talk more about that in a future video. So let me go ahead. I'm not going to build the whole H10 right now. I'm just going to build a quick setup. So we're going to get this guy set up with the Aries Game power supply. I'm just going to do one card at a time is kind of my goal. Just get it plugged in and go from there. So we'll be back in just a second. You know, I was sitting here figuring things out a little bit, and I was like, I know I'm going to get 1,000 questions on this. So quick heads up. So this is directly out of an HP desktop computer. Okay. I found it off of Facebook Marketplace. It was going for $50 US. It was, you know, it's probably 7, 8 years old. And literally, I'll have to find another one of these, and I'll show it to you guys in a future video. So I took the tower. It's nothing crazy. And literally, this is exactly the way it is sitting inside the tower. except it's got a hard drive plugged into it and stuff. So I just ripped open the tower, and it's kind of just like gutting it. But it comes just, you know, it's just like this. Everything's pre-built, ready to go. So if you guys are looking for like something super cheap that you just want to get started off the ground, this is honestly, this is a great solution that I have found. Everything's ready to go. Your CPU is already pre-mounted. I haven't touched it. Memory is already in there. So all I had to do was then go grab a power supply. Now 750 watts is complete overkill, but it's what I have available to me. And plug it in, and we're going to just use our slot here. Now, something we learned. Heads up. Here's your disclaimer. These slots are like, it says X16 on this slot, but it's like 2.0. So if you're running any of the 3000 series cards, you can't run it off of this slot. Like, you can't plug directly into this slot and get full hash rate on it if you're running like Windows with the 470 driver. If you're running older cards like this, there's no worries in the world. So anyways, guys, let me go ahead and I'm going to get the power supply unpacked, plugged in. I have to find something to kind of boost this up off of the table a little bit. And then we're just going to test out each card real quick. Make sure, 1, it powers up, and 2, it mines. So I'll be back here in just a few minutes. Alrighty, guys, so that, honestly, this took me all of like 2 minutes, I'm not going to lie. And you could probably tell, but it's not difficult. So as you can see, everything is put up on our power supply box for our Aries Game 750 watt. I forgot, if you guys need links for any of this, like, oh, what is that, where you get it, it's all in the description down below, so take a look. This is the Aries Game 750 watt power supply, the H110 Pro. We have our, what do we got here, our Kingston 120 gig solid state. These are the 6-pin to 8-pin cables that you'll need for your risers and also for your GPUs. We got UBit risers, HP server power supply, and then of course this is the Breakout board that you plug into the server power supply that then your risers and your GPUs plug into. So we went ahead, we plugged in our, this board is like such a little board. It has a 4-pin on the board, not a 6-pin. And then we have our 24-pin coming off of our power supply. And then we're ready to go. We got our 6 and our 6+2 ready for our card. I did go ahead and put HIVEOS, this is a test rig, HIVEOS on a USB drive. I traditionally go with solid state drives for any of my long-term mining rigs, but short-term USB drive will do the trick. We aren't far away. We have our 240 watt right over here to our PDU. So I'm going to go ahead and run a power cable over and plug it in, and we'll get an Ethernet cable plugged in, and next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and power this up for the first time. Okay, so we are ready to go. A few things to go over real quick. So we have our Ethernet cable actually runs back and goes to our ChumpChange switch over there. Got the great ChumpChange sticker and Misfit mining sticker over there. We then have our 240 volt actually runs back, goes plugged into our PDU. So we are set and ready to go. Plenty of power down here now. Outside of that, USB drives plugged in, good to go. Power button. So these I went ahead and salvaged from those HP towers. These are actually built right into the case. So we got ourselves a power button, which is awesome. I took our first 1066 gig, plugged it in. It takes a 6-pin, which is really nice, plenty there. So let's go ahead and power her up and make sure we don't get any smoke or anything odd. All right, cool. We got fans spinning. Fan on the card, fan on the CPU, fan on the power supply, so that is good. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the computer in HIVEOS and let's see what we get. Alrighty, folks. So we got our first card. It is in our test rig. We ended up labeling our test rig one of my favorite X-Men, so I thought it was appropriate, and that is Gambit. So if any YouTube content creator tells you that everything works the first time when they do it, like the way the videos show it, they're absolute liars. It was probably an hour between the last clip and this one. I had some issues with the motherboard and needed to swap it out. So I swapped out that HP whole setup with a whole nother HP motherboard setup. It wasn't posting anything at all. Like nothing would come on the screen. So long story short, I gave up on that, swapped it out. I'll troubleshoot that later. Got in here. We're good to go. There is an update for this OS version of HIVEOS, because I did have it on a USB drive that was older, so I'll have to do this between tests here. But we have no flight sheet assigned, and we don't have any configurations done. So let's go ahead. I'm going to build a flight sheet real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll see what our stock hashing is, and then we'll get some traditional settings in here that are average for a 1066 gig. It looks like we are hashing at 20.11 on stock settings, so this is great. That's good. Granted, we're at 100 watts. So let's go, and you can see the card's going to start to get pretty warm as of right now. Usually gets up over, if you don't set any overclock settings, this thing could go up to 60 plus, or 70 plus, sorry, Celsius. So I'm going to come in here, and we're going to set some core clock offsets. I have this exact same card. Granted, every card's a little different, as we talk about on the channel. EVGA 1066 gig. We're running at 100 by 1200 at 90 power. So I'm going to go ahead and use those same settings. So let me go back into Gambit, and we're going to come in here and do 100. We're going to do 1200. We're going to put our fans at 85 and our power limit at 90. And let's go, let's go. So we went ahead and applied it, and let's see how we do. In the meantime, while we wait, let's go ahead and load up Hive Shell. Man, we still got 2 more cards to test. Thankfully, our settings should look pretty good. Probably between cards, I'll wipe the overclock config, and I like to test every card stock. Just completely stock first, then go ahead and put some overclock settings in to be safe. So let's go ahead and get Hive Shell up. That'll give us, let us see kind of in real time. Looks like the NVIDIA settings that we applied for overclock settings have applied to the card. So now we're just waiting for Hive Shell to finish, as well as HIVEOS should update. Hive Shell's taking a little bit. Wonder if, okay, here we go. Perfect. So load this up. Once this loads up, if you guys do MOTD watch, it's going to bring up here, and it actually looks like it's having some errors here. Oh, there we go. It's just taking a second. Okay. 21.81. Great, great, great. Let me go back here. Refresh. 21.7. Cool. Anything over 20 on the 1060s is a win for me. Some people go big. This is just testing, guys. We aren't like completely nailing this down. This is me testing. Oh, this failed to bind. I've seen this before. I forget how to get rid of this. There's something. I'll have to look it up between takes here. If this API failed to bind socket, it's something you put in the miner and it gets rid of that. I'm going to have to look that up again. I don't remember what that is. Anyways, this card I'm approving after we bought it secondhand. So this card's good. So I'm going to get back to the seller, let them know I approve this card, and we're going to jump on to the next card. So I'll be back with our next card. Alrighty, so this is the first card that we just did. It's really hot, like a lot hotter than I expected on the back here. But something I noticed is that inside here, I don't know that the camera can do justice for it. This card is actually filthy, like inside this heatsink here. So I think what I'm going to do is when we get into this actual build, doing the full, there'll be 6 total 1060s. I think I'm going to take every one of them apart, which is something that I've told you guys about in past videos. When you get secondhand GPUs in, not only should you do your testing, but also you should clean every card, and you should put new thermal paste on them. I did order new thermal pads, so we'll put some of those on it too. Not in today's video, but in a future video. So it's something that you should do on every single card that you buy secondhand. That isn't brand new from Newegg or Best Buy or wherever you're buying them from. When you're buying them from John Smith in Iowa, you know, something to keep in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and get our second 1060 by EVGA plugged in, and I'll see you back over in HIVEOS. Okay, so card number 2, we're in. I did go in, if you come into overclock settings, I did come in and click this little brush and you can clear your overclock settings entirely. So that's done. Let's go ahead here. It looks like we're pretty good. I'm not seeing any issues so far. So let's go ahead and get mining here. I don't remember stopping the miner, so I'm curious as to kind of what's it got going on here. So we're going to go ahead and I restarted the miner, and then we're going to load up Hive Shell. So we'll see what happens. Okay, Hive Shell's coming up here. Let's go ahead and see what we get. MOTD watch. Okay, so it looks like it's starting to mine. I forgot to look to see what these are while we wait for this to come up. I'm going to go ahead and... I can't remember how to turn this off. What is this? T-Rex miner. Failed to bind socket. I know I saw something that you can disable this while I'm waiting for this. It looks like it's starting to boot it up here. Let's see. You have to add something to the config file, it looks like. Okay, I found it. You have to add this to your config file. Okay. Anyways, it looks like this is mining at 20.11. That's actually identical to the other one, which is awesome. I'm very happy to see that. So let's cut back here. Yeah, apparently, well, if you guys are curious, we'll do this on the fly. You come in here, and in the miner, I just Googled this and found it on a Reddit forum. I think this is what it was. You do API bind telnet 0, I think is what it is. So let's go ahead and apply that and update. See if that gets rid of that craziness on the miner here. In the meantime, we're going to come in here and overclock this. So we're going to put in the same settings, 100, 1200, our fan at 85, our power at 90. And I think that's good. So let's go ahead and apply our overclock settings for card number 2. So far, so good. Happy to see. It looks like we're 2 for 2, which is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so it's reloading this now. We'll see if it gets rid of that telnet bind socket garbage. It looks like it's building the DAG right now. Now, if you guys are wondering why we wait, by the way, this video turned into like significantly longer than I expected. But if you guys are wondering, and I probably should have talked to this at the top of the video. So if you waited this long and hung with me, I appreciate it. Why did I pick 1060s? Well, if you guys remember, I did a survey on my YouTube channel in the community tab 2 weeks ago that asked you what card should I buy more of and do more videos on. You guys voted for the 1060 6 gig. They were all cards like the R9 380 was in there, 470, 570s. And you guys voted for more 1060 6 gigs, so I'm thrilled. So this entire rig build that we'll do in the future will be all 1066 gigs. And I like the 1066 gigs because they're kind of that land of in between. That land of in between of the 4 gig and the 8 gig. Like, the 8 gigs are so expensive. And the 6 gigs are kind of like right in that little area, that gray area in between the two. And we're still able to mine Ethereum with them. So that's kind of why I went this route. And they still hold their value really well. Okay, ooh, this one's a good one. So this one's at 23.17 right now. I'm happy to see that. And that's great to see on our overclock settings. Things look good. 2320, which is awesome. Our temps are looking good. They're down at 54. So this card's definitely running cooler than our last one. So I think this one gets the stamp of approval. Let's go to our last card, which is actually different than an EVGA. It's actually a Zotac. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, on to card number 3. This is the Zotac. So this is different than the EVGAs. This one, if you guys take a look there, you can see this one actually uses Micron GDDR5X versus the 1060. I'm just looking here on my other rig. I have the same thing in there. Is Micron GDDR5. Interesting. If you guys know what the difference is between the DDR5 and the DDR5X, I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below. But let's go ahead and take a look. No overclock settings here. We look good to go. So let me It's stuck on this like reboot shutdown. Interesting. Let's go ahead and load up our Hive in a shell and see what we have going on. I'm looking off to the side on a monitor I have hooked to it just to be safe. It looks like T-Rex Miner is loading the DAG file right now, which is great. So we'll see what we get on stock, and then we'll go ahead and apply some overclock settings. Alrighty, 1 hour later. No, just kidding. Okay, let's load this up. Oh, come on, work with me here. Okay, trying to type here. It's not letting me. Let's try again. There we go, magic. Magic. Okay, wow, this one is crazy low, this Zotac. 13.25. This is, I wonder if, man, is there a huge difference between the EVGA and the Zotac on the 1060 6 gig? This is a huge difference. I would have expected it to be a little closer to 20 stock, but like, this is not even hitting 15 stock. Okay, let's add in some overclock settings. Maybe it's just, let's see. We're going to start out with a power limit of 90. See what we get. All right, let's apply these settings and see what we get. We're going to swap back over to shell in a box and see we were at 13.25. So we just put in the same settings that we did for a lot of other 1060s. 100 core clock, 1200 for our memory. All right, so it's going up 13.9. I'm hoping it bumps up higher than 13.9. Because this card, we may have to look at what this does on like Ergo or something. If this 1060 is going to hash this low. Or I might have to resell this card. Because, man, did I not know what I was getting myself into when I bought a Zotac 1060? With this DDR5X. Okay, so we're at 15. Okay, so we jumped up decent amount. About 1.5. Let's see if we get a little higher than, we're at 1501. Let's see what our next one is. I mean, we should be like, we should be up like 18 maybe. Higher. I'm just thinking, man. My goal was 20. My goal with this build was 20 mega hash per 1060. Yeah, that's another 15. Dang. All right. So I'm not going to count this one out just yet. But I'm just going to go crazy here. Let's do 14 for my memory clock. I'm just 15? 15? Come on. We're better than that. You can do better than that. Oh, looks like this one is cooling much. Oh, this one is a 2-fan. So the Zotac is a 2-fan setup. It's a much larger card than the EVGA, which is a single fan. You could definitely see it cools significantly better. Turn this down to 70. All right, so we turned up our memory. Let's see if that did anything. Let's give it a second. Come on, show me something good. Get me 18. 15.4, is that it? I bumped up the memory by quite a bit there, 200. Let's see if it posts again. Yeah, I wonder if as I was saying before, I wonder if this is going to be like a dedicated Ergo card. Or I consider reselling it and then buying another EVGA. Which is another option, honestly. Okay, 15.9. Okay, okay. Come on. I mean, it works. That's the whole purpose of this, is to test it to make sure it works. I should say that. Let's change this to 150. We're going to try one more. And then we got to add, this video is going 10 times longer than I wanted it. I mean, this is going to be like a 20-minute video by the time I'm done. Holy cow. If you guys stayed this long, you guys are crazy. But I think this will be the last one we'll test. As I said, today's video was literally to test 3 cards. It probably could have taken me all 5 minutes if I just cut out a lot of the chatting and stuff like that. But I enjoy it. It's entertaining. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. So we were at 1598. I did bump our core clock from 100 to 150. Is it 1598 again? We'll give it one more. Maybe it didn't fully load there. Yeah, 150 core, 1400 memory. Yeah, this Zotac, man, I was doing some research, looking online. Yeah, man, 50. It looks like that changed nothing. This is such an odd card. Like these, I was doing some research. These Zotac cards, like, I'm not seeing a lot of these in the mining space. I wonder if this is why, honestly. Ugh, crazy. Alrighty, guys, so that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for today. So we tested our 2 EVGAs. They're good to go. Our Zotac is a little, it's good. You know, it's booting. We got videos working. It's mining, just not what we expected. If you guys know anything more about these Zotac 1060s, please let me know. Other than that, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and keep an eye on the channel for more 1060 content. Take care.